going to take Dr. Woodruff.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to return again to the letter that was written by some doctors from the northwest, 23 doctors from that region in Tasmania who have been at the forefront of the coronavirus pandemic in Tasmania and still are. These were GPs and emergency doctors, some of whom I recognise the names. They've been in contact with me, and I dare say with other members, with questions and concerns and ideas throughout the last couple of months about the progress of the pandemic and the way it's being managed. It's very clear that they are dedicating every moment of their working day to caring for people. One of those people I know has self-quarantined from his family because he hasn't wanted to take the risk of introducing the virus, because he's been personally treating patients with coronavirus, and there is another patient at the Mersey Hospital with coronavirus who's being treated at the moment. So amidst the work that these people are doing and continue to do for people in the northwest, for all of us really, in keeping us safe in this pandemic, they also recognise the importance of looking to the future, as we all are, as we think of stepping out and being at the crossroads that we are as a country, and the decisions that we're making over the next few days, which will be so important for our near future and actually for the longer term for us as a state. They are concerned about our prosperity, and fundamentally they're concerned about the health and well-being of their patients and their communities, which is why they compiled a letter and addressed it to the Premier with their concerns about the continuing heating of the climate and our response to that. And they recognise that this continuing warming of the planet, it's now heating of the planet, is at a point which is causing the loss of life, mental health problems, permanent loss of livelihood across regional communities in Tasmania, Australia and the whole planet. Whilst this pandemic is ongoing, the climate has continued to keep warming. Communities around the world have dealt with bushfires and floods and storms, and people have lost their lives. Crops have failed to produce, droughts have increased. So this is not going away. They understand that, these doctors. And they want us to be looking to a recovery from coronavirus, an economic recovery, which puts the climate crisis front and centre with the virus economic recovery. So the two are joined together, and we look at them as one. These are two crises which the global community is facing. And I found the Premier's response to the question that we asked this morning surprising and very concerning, because it's clear that the Premier has, he's said at almost every single press conference I've listened to, which has been every single day he's given one, I've listened to him stand there and say, I take my advice from the health experts, I listen to the health evidence, that's why I'm doing and taking the hard decisions I'm taking. So he has been policy-driven, leadership-driven by health experts in a health crisis. Yet this is the same Premier who dismissed the concern of these health professionals who are talking about another health issue, the other health issue, which is the quality of life for their patients, their future well-being for their communities, if we don't also act on the climate crisis. Where is the Premier's response? Where is the Premier listening to the climate experts? Why is the Premier not listening to the climate evidence? Why is he not looking at the evidence which is overwhelming in Tasmania, from Tasmanian, our amazing Tasmanian climate scientists who are world leading, but also from the whole global climate science community, the thousands of scientists in the IPCC who have made it very clear that we have a deadline and it's 10 years away. And this is the year, 2020 is the year of action. They told us that 2 years ago. Here we are in 2020. We've got 2 crises we're confronting as a global species. We may recover from one, but will we recover from the other? Unless we come out of this economic devastation that we are really only at the cusp of experiencing as a state, without a focus to managing the climate crisis at the same time, we are doomed to have the worst of all economic recoveries, because we can never recover as a community, as a state, unless we address the damaging impacts that are coming and will continue to come as the climate builds, the climate heating builds. So we have great support across the Australian business sector for doing exactly what I've been talking about. Just yesterday, the Chief Executive of the Australian Industry Group, Innes Wilcox, who represents more than 60,000 businesses, made a very strong statement that the 2 biggest economic challenges in memory, which is the recovery from coronavirus pandemic and cutting greenhouse gas emissions, have to be addressed together. Yeah. And by so doing, it will boost growth and put the country on a firm long-term footing. So this is not even climate scientists who are saying this. They're now being backed up by the industry groups who recognise the risk to their business and who want to work to better their employees. So, Madam Speaker, wise heads in business are calling for the Premier to take this response. Now is the time for him to listen to climate experts about the climate crisis.
Thank you.